This is my new PTZ pan tilt zoom camera that I ordered from eBay. It's pretty high end for a consumer product. 30x optical zoom, 5 megapixel streaming video. I'm going to put it right here upside down so it's easier to test. It's pretty nice from a construction point of view. It's all metal construction. When you plug it in, it goes through this initialization process. It'll tilt a little bit below the horizon. Not very much, I don't know, a degree. It'll take another 30 seconds before we can talk to it over the network. Now, if you know the camera's IP address, and you should, you can log right into it using Internet Explorer. And since this is a pan tilt zoom camera, we can pan, tilt, and zoom. Now let's do another test. If you look at this picture of this watch on the screen, it's 25 millimeters wide, measuring it. Now if I go to maximum zoom, 30x, and I measure the watch, it's 250 millimeters wide. I'd call that 10x zoom, not 30x. There's lots of settings on this software. Networking, camera, exposure, etc. Now this camera is not PoE capable by itself, power over Ethernet. So you'll have to run a separate cable to the camera to supply 12 volts DC power. Well, 12 volts of course. This camera sitting here idling is about 200 milliamps on the top scale, not much at all. If I pan, half an amp, 6 watts. Tilt, about the same. We do both, almost an amp. It takes 12 watts just to move it around. But this is daytime settings. If you go to nighttime settings with the infrared illuminators on, power jumps up. Now panning is an amp all by itself. Pan and tilt might take more than an amp. Amp and a quarter. Then if I zoom in, even more illuminators come on. Now it's an amp just sitting here idling, doing nothing. Panning, a little more. Pan tilt, amp and a half. 18 watts minimum to run this camera. We'll zoom out. Some illuminators turn off. We'll go back to day mode with no lights at all. Drops down pretty low. Now if you don't have a PoE system, you can still splice one together and run fewer wires to the camera using a PoE injector. Plugs into a standard outlet. network in, network out to the camera. Now this cable can be 100 feet long. With our splitter at the other end, we get 12 for the camera, which is what we want. Okay, so we've seen the camera and what it can do. Let's look inside. Well, inside there's not much other than a camera. You could swap this out for another one if you wanted to, I imagine. There's not much else in here. There's one circuit board for the infrared illuminators, I imagine. Underneath, there's like a general I/O board. And here's the tilt motor. And in the main body, another motor for pan. It goes around non-stop. The wires don't twist up. There's some kind of slip joint or something in there. I hope it works when I put it back together. Okay, I put my camera on top of the house. Do some panning. I see a mountain. Let's see if we can get a closer view. Oh yeah, that's a mountain.